Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Boyer, and you can find me at kellyboyer.org. For those of you who have joined me today, we are going to be doing inner child work. And some of you may be familiar with your inner child or how we do this type of healing. Others may not be so familiar with it. So let's talk a little bit about what inner child healing or work is. So we all, even if you don't want to quite believe it, but we have all been through some sort of trauma. It may be big traumas, it could be small traumas, it doesn't matter. When our bodies experience it, all it knows is that it's experiencing trauma. It's experiencing frequencies that are not coherent with the frequencies that we're needing, with those high vibrational frequencies. So a lot of times what happens is our body, our organs will trap those emotions inside our bodies. And the reason that I'm talking about this is because inner child work and healing focuses around those experiences that we had as a child. It doesn't matter from the time that we were born at birth all the way up and still even into our adulthood, because if you're anything like me, sometimes I like to act a little childlike to have some fun. But in all reality, it could be from birth all the way up until early adulthood. We can experience different types of traumas. So, traumas can come in the form as abuse, any type of abuse, whether that's parental abuse, uh, domestic abuse from a partner that we may have been with, any type of abuse, and it could be physical, emotional, mental, sexual abuse across the board. It can also be neglect that maybe we experience as a child, and neglect from the family, or neglect also comes in the form of not being heard or being seen when you needed to really be seen. It can also come in the form of abandonment. And when we also talk about abandonment, that means not being able to trust ourselves or to trust others, because when we are in a time of need, whatever that need was for you or means for you, and the person that we thought that we could count on, we couldn't. And so we emotionally felt abandonment. Other forms of trauma can be vicarious trauma. It can be trauma that somebody shares with us that as we were young that we took on. During our teenage years, we go through a lot of growth and experiences. So it could be trauma that a friend was experiencing that you were listening to that your body now took on. So there's a lot of ways in which we can experience those things and have those things become lodged into us. So when we're talking about our inner child, what we're really talking about is healing that particular age in which those traumas occurred. So, again, that could be at birth, that could be a young version of yourself at the age of 3 or 5, that could be during your teenage years, it could be at any time in which we're today going to start healing those different, I'm going to say different timelines, because we can experience stuff in this life, but what happens is we're now going to that past timeline in which that occurred. So we're going to start working on healing our children. And one of the things that you'll also hear when people talk about doing inner child work, it means you're becoming the parent that maybe you didn't have, or the parent that you really needed at that time. So you're going to provide that love and sense of security back to yourself, which is your inner child. And so know that when we also talk about our inner child, one of the reasons why traumas can resurface or bubble up to the surface is because our inner child is really the emotional part of us. Everything emotional connects to that inner child. So it's really important that we teach our inner child how to appropriately use and handle and process those emotions so that they don't get too chaotic or out of control, or they're so overwhelming that you become overwhelmed. So, all right, we are going to talk about our children today. And my apologies, something popped up onto my screen here. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so let's get started with our children. And what we're going to do is we're just going to dive right in. We're going to do some energy work. We're going to bring forth our inner child today, and we're just going to talk to him or her. And we're going to talk to him and her at whatever age she shows up, because that's the age that you need to have this conversation with. And we're just going to get to know our child that sometimes can turn into children. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we may be doing some healing, and you may have, I call my inner child little Kelly. For example, little Kelly may show up at 4 years old. I may see another little Kelly that shows up at uh, 12 years old, and I might have another little Kelly that shows up at 16. And just know, if you have multiple inner children that show up, you're healing something in them that each one of those ages needed. So don't be surprised if you do get more than just one child that shows up. Know that those are different aspects of you. And we're going to heal those aspects today, or at least just have a conversation with them. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And I want you to start taking some deep breaths in. And as you take your deep breath in, I want you to pull it all the way down to the bottom of your spine. And then go ahead and release that up and out through your mouth. So let's do some of that breathing now. And part of the reason why we're doing this breathing is because we want to slow down our nervous system. We want to get into heart brain coherency. And when we slow down our nervous system, it allows us to thin out those particles to really work within that energy, so that we can bring forth those emotions and start releasing those emotions and those neuropeptide chemicals that are caught in those emotions. So let's continue to slow down our nervous system. All right, so now on the next deep breath in, what I want you to do is I want you to pull it all the way down to your navel, because our children live right behind our navel in that area. So go ahead and bring that, pull that breath and that energy all the way down to your navel and release. And now what I want you to sense, see, or feel is I want you to sense, see, or feel a bubble that is right behind your navel. And I want you to energetically pull that bubble up and out, and almost as if it's right in front of you. And then I want you to see inside that bubble, and I want you to see inside that bubble to your inner child. And I want you to just see your inner child right now. See, sense, or feel. And see, sense, or feel whatever age she is at or he is at that's coming forward. And I don't want you to question if the age that you're sensing or feeling or seeing is correct or incorrect. I just want you to trust it. All right. Wonderful. And I can feel with some of you that your child may be being a bit playful today. So they're not quite allowing you to see them, but just acknowledge their playful side and then please just ask them to gently step forward. There we go. All right, and now as your child is standing before you, what I want you to do is I want you to see, sense, or feel if they have any toys in their hands. Did they bring any furry pets along with them? Do they have anything that they're wearing? Maybe it was a favorite pair of shoes that you had at that age, a favorite shirt. All right. So now what I want you to do is I want you to see not only yourself looking at your child, but I want you to see your child gazing up at you. And I want you to know that your inner child is also taking you in. Your inner child is breathing you in as they look you over, just as you're looking them over. And as we do this, what we're doing is we're going to start creating that energetic connection that we have with our inner child. And as that connection begins to develop, you may feel it in a certain part of your body. You may feel it coming forward in a certain or particular chakra. That's okay. That's just where your child is connecting with you today. Many of you are feeling it in that heart contact. Others in their solar plexus. There are some of you that are very cerebral, so you're doing that from the mind to mind connection, and that's okay because that's just the way that your child is feeling safe and connecting today. And when I say your child's feeling safe and connecting, you are also feeling safe and connecting that way. Wonderful. All right. So now what I want you to do is I want you to see in between you and your child this beautiful table. It can be wood, it can be metal, it can be made out of glass, however you sense, see, or perceive it. And this table is in between you and your child. And I want you to sit down at one of the chairs in that on that table. And actually, when I ask you to sit down, what we're bringing forward is your spirit. So let's ask your spirit to have a seat at that table. And then we're going to ask your child to go ahead and sit across from you at that table. And with that child, really what we're bringing forth is the spirit of the inner child sitting down at that table. And then what we're going to ask is I want you to ask your ego to come have a seat at the table. However your ego comes forward, just allow it to come forward that way and just to have a seat at the table. And now we're going to ask your inner child to have his or her ego come sit at the table. And some of your inner child's egos might be a little bit resistant or stubborn about coming to sit at the table, and that's okay. We're just going to reassure them that it is safe and that you're going to keep it safe. And even if it doesn't want to quite sit down yet, that's okay. Let's just ask it to stand either beside or behind the chair until it's ready to have a seat. And we're just going to push out some compassion and love to those children that might be resisting a little bit, because there's a few that aren't very sure. I can feel that they're rather timid. We're just going to push out some love and compassion so that they can feel that. Beautiful. Okay. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to ask, I want you to ask your mind consciousness to come and take a seat at the table. And again, however that appears to you is how it's supposed to come. So just allow it and trust it and just have it come forward and have a seat at the table. Now let's ask your mind consciousness of your inner child to also come and have a seat at the table. And I can feel a lot of your inner child's mind just really came and plopped at the table because it is very curious today. And I love that it's so curious. We want them to be curious so that we can do some exploring and some learning about one another. Oh, that's wonderful. And then next, I want you to call forth your body consciousness to come have a seat at the table. And again, as you bring forth your body consciousness, however it appears, is how it's meant to appear today. So just trust it and have it come have a seat. And then finally, let's ask our inner children's body consciousness to come have a seat. And again, we want to reassure your inner child's body consciousness that it is safe, that it is secure, and that you're going to protect it. We are going to coax it out a little bit because some may have experienced some physical traumas. And so the body consciousness is a little bit worried about coming out because it does not want to get hurt again. But again, we're just going to reassure it that it is a special spot at the table where it will stay safe. All right. And as we've all come to the table, we are going to ask your inner child's ego to show your own ego a program in which it experienced negative frequencies that has caused emotions to be caught, lodged, stuck in the body, that it is needing to release. And so this may appear to you in any kind of way. You may sense, see or feel an experience that happened to you at a particular time at the age of that child. It may just come in the form of an emotion. However it comes to you, just allow it to happen and just breathe through it. As your child's ego is showing you this program, we want your ego to step forward and explain to your child's ego that this is a program that no longer exists, It is a program that no longer serves you. But we also want to thank your child's ego for bringing that forward to you. And we're going to tell your child's ego that our ego and together we're going to help release that emotion. But before we release that emotion, I want you to look at your inner child's body consciousness. And I want you to ask your inner child to bring forth where that emotion, program, or experience was lodged into its body. And we're going to reassure your body consciousness that today we are going to release those frequencies, those protective frequencies, because it no longer needs to be protected by that. Because we are showing the ego that it no longer needs to protect from old programming that we're going to release. So you may either see, sense, or even feel where it may be lodged in your inner child's body consciousness, and that's okay. Because as we work with the ego to release it, we are going to ask that energy, light and energy be sent there as we release these programs. So as you're looking at your inner child's ego, I want you to see how many balloons it may be hanging on to. Because in each one of those balloons is a memory packet that is holding that particular frequency that we're wanting to release. And when we release that, it's going to release that programming. So go ahead. Some of you have one, some of you have many, and that's okay. And as you see those balloons and you see the ego holding on to those balloons very tightly, I want you to look at your inner child and I want you to tell your inner child exactly, actually, I'm going to go back a bit. I want your inner child to tell you what it's needing in order to release those balloons filled with those memory packets. And whatever your child is telling you, I want you to not necessarily allow those frequencies to come forward, but I just want you to acknowledge what your inner child's telling you, those emotional frequencies that it's attached to. And then in your own words, either in your mind or out loud, I want you to tell your inner child that it is safe, that you love it, that you love them, and that you are not ever going to leave their side, that you are and always will be forever be their protector, and that your inner child no longer needs to hide or create a barrier around themselves to feel safe because you are going to be the one that's going to intercede if any frequencies try to come in to protect your inner child. And that any time, if your inner child has any of these fears that are caused from these programs that its ego is trying to protect itself from, that you are going to listen and that you are going to have compassion and understanding and that you are going to help release it. And now I want you with your breath, I want you to sense, see, or feel as you take a deep breath in, releasing. And as you release, you're cutting those cords that the inner child's ego is holding on to, cutting those cords, releasing those attachments to that program. And I want you to see either that balloon or balloons begin to float up into the atmosphere, into the universe, up into the angelic realm, as the angelic realm surrounds those balloons with those memory packets in love and light. Sense, see, or feel them dissolve. And as they dissolve, we're going to ask them to be sent out into the universe and to be used for their highest good in the way that they need to be. And now some of your egos may be feeling a little bit scared. Actually, the way that it's coming forward is they're feeling a little bit naked and exposed. And so now I want you to take your ego and I want you to just caress your inner child's ego with your ego, letting them know that they are safe and protected. And as you're telling them that they're safe and protected in their love, I want you to radiate that energy out so that your inner child's ego can feel that energy. We're just going to show what type of frequencies that we want the ego to allow in. And as your ego is feeling that, I want your inner child's mind to step forward, because now we're going to let your mind tell your inner child's mind that it no longer needs to, almost like the way that it's coming in is like prioritizing, like, or organizing on how it can protect itself. It's almost like the way that I'm seeing is like next steps to make sure that that in the end steps it's protected. And so I want your mind consciousness to do is I want it to talk your child's mind, letting it know that it can be at ease, that it doesn't have to constantly be on overload, trying to sort out the chaos that occurs from these programs that we just released, that it no longer has to do that. And now we're going to ask our mind to tell our inner child's mind to tell the ego that when it allows these frequencies, these high vibrational frequencies of love and joy and happiness and kindness and gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness all come forward, that it will be able to trust its ego and knowing that this is how the ego is protecting it, and that the mind really doesn't have to do any work except open itself up to allow these frequencies to come in, and that it doesn't even have to prioritize these frequencies, that every single one of these frequencies that comes in is for its highest good to keep it healthy. And now I want you to just wrap your mind consciousness around your inner child's mind consciousness so it can feel what calm and peace feels like, what it feels like to relax, to not have to be on guard, to feel safe. Just allow your mind consciousness to calm your inner child's mind consciousness. Very good. Now your ego is wrapped up and intertwined with your inner child's ego. Your mind consciousness is wrapped up and intertwined with your inner child's mind consciousness. And I can see that your egos and your mind consciousness are hugging your inner child's ego and mind consciousness. And now what we're going to do is we're going to ask your body consciousness to step forward to talk to your inner child's body consciousness. And I want your body consciousness to send healing light frequencies to the body consciousness of your inner child. And wherever that light goes, just allow it to just freely go and flow. And now we're going to tell your inner child's body consciousness that your body consciousness is here to just protect it and release any of that energy that's been stuck in there, and that we're going to release those neuropeptides up into the atmosphere just to be released. And I can see them releasing up, and a lot of them look like sparkly fairy dust. And that's okay because we're going to allow the atmosphere to take those neuropeptides and chemicals and alchemize them into whatever high frequency that they need to be alchemized into, and allow it to take it up and away to be used for its highest good. And I can feel your bodies, your body and your inner child's body begin to just relax. And so we want your body consciousness to tell your inner child's body that it is safe, and that any time that it is feeling uncomfortable or scared, to just let your body know where it is so that we can release and alchemize those neuropeptides into love and light, and to be sent out into the universe to be used how they need to be used. So let us just sit here for a while as your body intertwines with your inner child's body, hugging it tight and warm and making it feel safe. And as we do this, what we're doing is we are using the energy of both your inner child and yourself to really bring those aspects of your ego, mind, and body together so that it starts to communicate, so that it no longer feels separate. When your inner child gets highly emotionally charged, you, the aspects of you, will be able to recognize that and immediately begin to comfort those aspects of your inner child, just to let it know that it is safe and that it is okay. And what I'm hearing is the inner child that stepped forward was really at the age of when all of the chaos and overwhelm started to take over. So we are reassuring it that from here on out that it's going to be safe. All right. Now what I want you to do is I do want you to pull back your ego. I want you to pull back your mind. I want you to pull back your body from the ego, mind, and body of your inner child. Now that we have blended those, you have shared those beautiful frequencies with your inner child. And now I'm going to ask your mind, body, and ego to take a step back into your spirit, to integrate back into your spirit. And as you do that, we want to ask your inner child to watch as you do this so that he or she can do the same thing. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to ask your inner child, ego, mind, and body, to step and be pulled back into the spirit of your inner child. And I want you to witness that happening because when you witness it, your inner child is witnessing the integration that is happening. Very good. So let's just allow those frequencies to come in as we pull them, as your inner child pulls them in. Ooh, I can feel not only your spirits, all of your spirits are relaxed, but your inner child feels so much more relaxed than when they first came to the table. Beautiful. All right. Now I want you to take your inner child by the hand, and I want you to see before you this beautiful path. And however this path comes to you is just what you are both needing. And I want you to take your inner child's hand and I want you to walk down this path. And as you are walking down this beautiful path, I want you to see it being lit up with just beautiful opalescent light, rays of sunshine. And as you continue down this path, both of you are absorbing and taking in the beautiful frequencies and the frequencies that your inner child takes in, you are feeling, and the frequencies that you take in, your inner child is feeling. You are sharing together, you are collaborating together, you are becoming as one. And in this journey, as you walk down this path, you both become more and more coherent, knowing that you can trust one another. Your inner child knows that you are the one that will keep it safe. And as you come to the end of this beautiful path, I want you to turn and look at your inner child. And I want you to thank your inner child today for bringing forth those programs and emotions and those conditionings that needed to be released. And I also want you to thank and show gratitude towards your inner child for trusting you today and for trusting this process of bringing you both into knowing one another. Just allow those frequencies of trust to integrate back and forth. Ooh, beautiful. All right, so we are going to ask our inner child to step back into its bubble. And the reason that we put our inner child into a bubble is that if we allowed him or her to just freely roam, we would be a roller coaster of emotions all the time, good, bad, or however they come. And we don't want to live our day-to-day lives on that emotional roller coaster because again emotions are very much connected to our inner child, and that's a lot of times where they're coming from when we feel them so strongly. Our inner child is knocking on that door to come out, so we want to put our inner child back into his or her bubble. And now what I want you to do is I just want you to fill that bubble with loving energy. Yeah, just fill up that his or her bubble with so much love and energy. And that may come out as a particular color. And that's beautiful because that is the color that connects you and your inner child together. So just see that bubble filling up with that beautiful color. Some I see are pink, some blue, some is like a beautiful peach or tangerine colors. Some are green. Oh, it's so beautiful. Just fill that bubble up with that light. Wonderful. All right. Now we're gonna again give thanks and gratitude to your inner child. And I want you to see, sense, or feel yourself placing that bubble back behind your navel again, locking that bubble into a very safe and cozy spot. Very good. All right. So know that at any time that you may be feeling emotions that you're not quite sure, or you're experiencing old programs or patterns that might be repeating itself, know that you can go down in and connect with your inner child at any time, asking your inner child to show you those programs, and then combining your ego, mind, and body with your child's ego, mind, and body to help release and dissolve those programs. So those emotions can also be released. Beautiful. All right. So now I want you to bring your awareness to about 300 feet above your head. And at 300 feet above your head, there is this door, and we're going to open this door. And as we open this door, I want you to see, sense, or feel this golden energy. It can come as liquid gold energy, come down out of the door. And that liquid gold energy, almost looking like honey, is coming down all around your body. See it coming all around your energy field. And I want you to feel it coming in through your crown, filling up your head. So it's filling up your crown, your pineal gland, as it continues to move down in and around you and down into your neck, into your throat chakra, continuing down around your shoulders, in your shoulders, down your arms to your fingertips, all the way down into your chest, filling up your heart chakra as you continue to pull it all the way down and around you, down, down, down into your solar plexus, as it continues to keep seeping down and around you in your energy field, all the way down into your sacral chakra, all the way down and around into your root chakra. And I really want this to fill up your root chakra, because oftentimes when our inner child is wounded, it's because it doesn't feel safe anymore. So we want this energy to fill that up with loving light and security and safety. And now I want you to take that energy from your root chakra and down and around your body and energy field. And I want you to send those frequencies down into the earth, all the way down into its crystalline grid. I want you to see, sense, or feel it filling up the crystalline grid like roots of a tree. And I want you to see these roots of a tree wrapping around the entire crystalline grid, just filling up with this beautiful golden honey energy. Beautiful. Now we're going to ask Mother Earth to bring up her energy to meet and mix with yours and the roots of this tree. As you absorb in her beautiful, loving, and supporting energy, as she has so much gratitude for allowing us to trust in her, as we have so much gratitude for her for allowing for just her support and her foundational energy. And we're going to pull that up. And I want you to pull that energy up again through your root chakra. It's going to come up and around your body and your energy field. And just keep pulling it up. Ooh, there's a big release from everything you did. Just keep pulling it up, 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 all the way up and out the top of your head. And then I want you to sense, see, or feel that energy going up, out the top of your head, up into the sky, past the clouds, filling up the atmosphere, all the way up to source. It could be source, it could be God, it could be that universal life force, whatever resonates with you, just connecting in, because I want you to be reminded that we are a piece of source, we are a spark from source. That does not make us any different, that we are all one with a capital ONE, that we are all one, and that none of us, none of our children, our inner child children have ever been separated. And at any time that we also want to connect with this expansive and beautiful energy, that we can. Beautiful. So just allow it to wrap around you, move through you, just feel that energy. And now what I want you to do is I want you to bring that energy back down through your crown all the way into your heart center, allowing your heart center to wrap around it, to bring it in, to embody it, and to lock it in. All right. Very good. And when you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes and come back to the room that you are in. All right. So today what we did is we really got to connect and collaborate and mesh and combine with our inner child, so that when we need to, we can go back in and connect and talk to our inner child, always asking what is it needing in that moment so it can show us. And then we can work with that energy, just reassuring our children that they are not alone, that they will never be alone, that we are always here to take care of them. Ooh, I can feel a lot of releasing still going on. It's beautiful energy, those beautiful releases. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we are going to continue to work with our inner children, just allowing them to keep showing us places and areas that need to be healed, and just creating a beautiful companionship and journey with them. All right. Are there any questions? No, I just see a bunch of you just so relaxed, just in your little happy space or your little happy state. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, at the next meeting that we have together, or the next class, again, we're going to still keep bringing forward our inner children and just getting to know them and just really building that relationship with them. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I love all of you. And until next time, so much love and light. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.